Most people think farming is for people who want to work hard and earn little. But what if 1 acre, about the size of a football field, could quietly generate $40,000 or more a year? Not with corn, not with wheat, but with crops most people have never even heard of. Here's what a single acre of corn earns in profit right now, around $300. $300 for a full year on an entire acre. Meanwhile, there are farmers pulling 6 figures from a 1/4 acre, a flower grower with 1 part-time employee clearing $250,000 a year, someone in Pennsylvania selling half a gram of a single spice for $14. These people aren't farming more land. They figured out something the agriculture industry doesn't advertise. It's not about volume. It's about choosing the right crop entirely. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 11 crops are making this possible. One of them you almost certainly ate a fake version of this week. One takes the better part of a decade to pay off, but when it does, it pays like nothing else in agriculture. And at least 2 of them can be grown in a converted barn with no sunlight and no soil at all. Let's go. The case against corn. In 2025, corn is forecast at roughly $3.90 a bushel. After input costs, many growers are at break-even or below. Their prices are set by global markets. You're competing with operations covering thousands of acres using equipment most small farmers will never afford. Specialty crops run on completely different economics. You're not selling bushels, you're selling rarity, freshness, and story. To chefs who will drive across town for a specific ingredient, to wellness brands hunting for the next supplement darling, to florists who can't get what they need from an overseas importer. The price per pound is 10 times higher, sometimes 100 times higher, and the land you need is a fraction of what commodity farming demands. Small growers across the United States are already doing this. Here are 11 crops they're growing. Number 1, saffron. Red gold. 75,000 flowers to produce 1 pound. That's what makes saffron the most expensive spice on the planet by weight. Every stigma must be hand-plucked from the crocus sativus flower during a narrow autumn harvest window. There is no machine that does this. In 2025, prices range from $630 to over $11,000 per pound, depending on grade and origin. A well-managed acre produces 1 to 4 pounds of dried saffron annually, with premium domestic saffron fetching $1,500 to $5,000 per pound. The yield improves on its own over time. Corms multiply naturally, so by year 4, a single corm has produced 5 to 10 new ones without any additional investment in planting stock. The U.S. imports over 54 tons of saffron annually, mostly through third-party countries. A domestic grower who can walk a chef through the provenance of their product is offering something imports simply cannot match. On a per square foot basis, almost nothing in agriculture returns what saffron does. Number 2, gourmet mushrooms, no soil required. This one breaks every assumption about what farming looks like. Lion's mane, oyster, shiitake, these don't grow in fields. They grow on shelves, stacked vertically in a converted barn, a garage, a repurposed shipping container. You're not measuring income by the acre. You're measuring it by the cubic foot of growing space you can pack into a building. A well-run small commercial mushroom operation with 500 to 1,000 square feet of fruiting space typically generates $80,000 to $180,000 in annual revenue. Restaurants and direct customers pay $16 to $24 per pound. The U.S. gourmet mushroom market grew 18% in a single year, with lion's mane leading the surge, prized by chefs for its dramatic cascading appearance and by health-focused consumers for its reported cognitive benefits. One grower in Oregon runs his entire operation from a repurposed shipping container on less than a 1/4 acre and reportedly clears 6 figures a year. No acreage, no soil, just shelves, substrate, and a delivery run to restaurants who can't get enough. Of every crop on this list, mushrooms have the shortest gap between starting and earning. Number 3, lavender. 1 plant, 3 paychecks. Most crops earn you money once when you sell them. Lavender earns you money 3 times from the same plant. You sell the dried flowers, you distill them into essential oil, then you turn both into sachets, soaps, culinary products, and candles at a margin that makes the raw crop price look like a rounding error. Established lavender fields take 2 to 3 years to reach full production, but once there, they can generate $10,000 to $30,000 per acre annually. Purple Haze Farms in Washington reportedly earns over $1 million from just 7 acres, a number that becomes believable the moment you understand how many revenue streams grow from a single harvest. And here's what most crop guides miss. Lavender brings customers directly to you. People visit lavender farms, they photograph them, they bring their kids and come back the next year. You're not just growing a crop, you're growing a destination. Number 4, microgreens. Cash in 2 weeks. 7 to 14 days from seed to sale. That's it. Microgreens are the seedlings piled on top of expensive restaurant dishes. Tiny, intensely flavored, and priced like their weight matters. They sell at $6 to $10 per ounce at retail, up to $50 per pound for premium varieties. And the U.S. market hit $590 million in 2025. You don't need land. You need trays, grow lights, and a spare bedroom. Because the cycle is so fast, you can run 20 or more harvests per year from the same setup. A grower targeting $10,000 a month needs roughly 40 to 50 regular accounts, achievable in any city with a decent restaurant scene. The detail that drives that demand: microgreens contain up to 40 times more nutrients than their fully grown counterparts. Chefs aren't buying a garnish, they're buying a story for the menu, and they pay for it week after week without complaint. 4 crops in, and we haven't touched the one that takes 10 years and pays out over $100,000 from a single acre, or the spice that 95% of sushi restaurants can't get right and charge a fortune for when they do, or the climbing orchid worth more per kilogram than almost anything else in your kitchen, with almost no one in the country growing it yet. 7 more to go, and they get more interesting from here. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest, and let's keep going. Number 5, ginseng, the long game. There's a crop growing quietly in the forests of Appalachia that takes 7 to 10 years to harvest and has been traded for hundreds of years because what it pays at the end is extraordinary. Wild, simulated American ginseng commands $500 to $1,200 per pound for mature roots. The buyers, predominantly in China, prefer the gnarly, oddly shaped roots that grow slowly in woodland conditions over smooth, fast-grown, cultivated alternatives. That preference is the price premium. A good yield can reach around 300 pounds of roots per acre. At $800 a pound dried, that's a harvest potentially worth over $100,000 against initial planting costs of around $1,500. And starting around year 5, you can harvest the seeds, which sell for over $90 a pound, providing modest income while the roots keep building value underground. Ginseng is for someone who has woodland, a long horizon, and the satisfaction of planting something today that will be genuinely worth something a decade from now. Number 6, wasabi. Brutally hard, worth it. Before we get to the numbers, one fact that will change the way you think about every sushi meal you've ever had. An estimated 95% of Japanese restaurants serve a paste of mustard, horseradish, and green food coloring in place of real wasabi. Most people in the Western world have never tasted the actual thing. Real wasabi demands cool running water, precise temperature control, and up to 36 months to reach harvestable size. It's genuinely one of the hardest crops in the world to grow consistently. That difficulty is the entire business model. California farmer Danny Blome fetches up to $150 per pound for fresh wasabi. With a yield of roughly 20,000 pounds per acre under ideal conditions, the math is compelling. A team in Massachusetts recently launched an indoor wasabi farm designed to cut that 24-month grow cycle down to 10 months, and they're already supplying 55 restaurants before their first full harvest. The farmers who crack wasabi consistently don't have much competition. There's a reason for that. Number 7. Vanilla, the hidden orchid. Ask someone where vanilla comes from and you'll get one of two answers: a bottle or Madagascar. Almost nobody knows it starts as a tropical climbing orchid, or that every vanilla bean in the world was pollinated by hand. Vanilla planifolia produces seed pods only after hand pollination during a narrow window each morning when the flowers are open. Miss that window and the flower drops. Cured beans fetch $250 to $600 per kilogram. It's widely considered the second most expensive spice in the world, and almost no one in the United States is growing it. Vines take 3 to 4 years to flower for the first time, but USDA-funded researchers have calculated the U.S. could become the 5th largest vanilla producer globally with just a few hundred dedicated acres, particularly in Florida, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The domestic premium for American-grown vanilla in a market addicted to natural, traceable ingredients is enormous. The growers positioning themselves now are entering a market with essentially no domestic competition. A climbing orchid with a 4-year wait and a price the entire flavor industry depends on. That's the bet. Number 8. Bamboo. They can't get enough. Bamboo has an image problem. Most homeowners think of it as the plant that invades from next door and won't stop. Landscapers, architects, and sustainable materials manufacturers think of it as the plant they can never get enough of. The distinction matters because those second people are the buyers. Selling young bamboo plants to nurseries and landscapers generates $25 to $100 per plant, and a focused quarter-acre nursery reportedly earns around $80,000 annually from container plants alone. The income model layers further from there: living plants, construction poles, edible shoots to restaurants, processed goods to furniture and textile makers. Clumping varieties, which stay put, unlike the invasive kind, are in constant demand for residential and commercial privacy screening. Once established, bamboo produces year after year with minimal care. Your main job is answering the phone when landscapers call. They will call. Number 9. Specialty herbs. Freshness is the product. There's a difference between dried oregano in a plastic supermarket jar and fresh Thai basil cut that morning, delivered to a restaurant kitchen before the lunch rush. The price difference is significant. The demand difference is growing. Specialty herbs, Thai basil, lemongrass, shiso, holy basil, aren't competing with commodity herb production. They serve a market commodity production can't reach. Chefs needing hyper-fresh, specific varieties in small quantities every single week. 1 acre of the right specialty herbs can yield $10,000 or more annually through direct restaurant sales in CSA boxes. As Asian cuisines continue expanding across North America, the demand for authentic, locally sourced herbs grows with them. A grower who shows up every Tuesday with fresh lemongrass for 5 restaurant accounts has built something no wholesale distributor can replicate: trust, freshness, and a relationship. That relationship pays consistently, and it compounds over time. Number 10. Elderberries. The boom isn't over. Walk through any health food store in 2025, and elderberry is everywhere. Syrups, gummies, tinctures, lozenges. The immune support market adopted it and ran, and the demand for raw berries is outpacing the supply of farmers willing to grow them. The Midwest Elderberry Cooperative is blunt about it. Demand exceeds supply. Their target is 2,250 acres of cultivated native elderberry across the U.S., and they're still short. A mature 1-acre elderberry orchard yields 4,000 to 6,000 pounds of berries at $2 to $3 per pound wholesale, a solid $8,000 to $18,000 per acre. But the real leverage is what you do after harvest. Elderberries processed into syrup retail at $8 to $24 per 8-ounce jar. Ernie Boner has been doing exactly this for over a decade at Persimmon Hill Farm, turning raw berries into jams, syrups, and jellies, and capturing a margin that wholesale pricing never could. The supply gap is real, the processing margin is real, and the wellness trend behind both shows no signs of slowing down. Number 11. Cut flowers. Emotion is the economy. Nobody cries at their wedding because the centerpiece had corn in it. Cut flowers occupy a rare corner of agriculture where the customer isn't thinking about price. They're thinking about how a room looks on the most important day of their life. That willingness to pay is the economic engine behind a crop that consistently returns $25,000 to $50,000 per acre at an initial investment of just $5,000 to $15,000. Peonies are where this model gets extreme. They have a short, ferociously profitable bloom window. Imported peonies lose quality in transit, so florists and wedding planners actively hunt local growers who can deliver fresh. A single wedding order can be worth several $1,000s. Lindsay Taulby runs Muddy Acres Flower Farm with one part-time helper. In a single year, she generated over $250,000 in sales. Then she did something that tells you everything. She dropped her dahlias, spring bulbs, and annuals, everything she grew, and pivoted the entire operation to peonies alone. The numbers told her to. She listened. For most regions of the country, a small, reliable local flower grower doesn't exist yet. That gap is the opportunity. Grow it, sell it, stack it. Every crop on this list has one thing in common, and it isn't the growing. The farmers who turn 1 acre into serious income aren't just skilled growers, they're skilled sellers. That's the variable that separates these stories from the thousands of growers who plant the same crops and still struggle. Farmers markets are usually where it starts. You show up, test demand, and identify the restaurant chefs who buy from you weekly. From there, the value-add layer builds. Dried flowers into sachets, raw berries into syrup, fresh mushrooms into powders shipped nationwide. CSA subscriptions create predictable monthly cash flow. The channels stack. A lavender grower sells flowers, essential oil, and runs agritourism from the same acreage in the same season. 1 acre, multiple revenue streams. Someone willing to grow something unusual and tell people why it matters. Grow where others won't. These 11 crops exist in the part of agriculture that the commodity system ignores. Too labor-intensive to scale industrially, too relationship-dependent to commoditize, too specific for a machine to replace. That's exactly why a single motivated person on a single acre can actually own one. A vanilla vine you hand-pollinate every morning in a Florida greenhouse. A saffron field that earns more per square foot than most commercial real estate. A shipping container full of lion's mane that sells out to restaurants before the next flush has finished growing. A field of peonies that makes a wedding planner's year and makes the numbers look like something agriculture isn't supposed to produce. 1 acre, the right crop, the right buyer. Tell me in the comments which one surprised you most and which one you'd actually consider growing. If you want to keep exploring this space with us, subscribe. There's a lot more ground to cover.